Okay, well, I can't believe my ears. Like after watching this fake news article on TV here, this person, Natasha, is saying that they're having to kill 7 bears a year. And, she says, oh, we don't blame the people parking, but then she says, well, they're leaving food out, they're polluting the rivers, and they're doing this and they're doing that. Like, I know some of the people that they interviewed or that you saw in this particular feed, and I do know that they are responsible people. Now, it doesn't matter where you go, everywhere you go, there's going to be some uh, people that are not being responsible. Well, sure, ticket those ones and, let them know they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. But when you start blaming you having to kill bears because of van lifers or people living in their vehicles, that's going too far. Uh, then she says, well, the people that are living in their vehicles are homeless and they are working on affordable housing. Okay, that may be partially true. If that's the case, well, you guys and the government and the civil authorities have been working on this problem for what? 10 years? Nothing has done. I know just as many people that want affordable housing that still can't get it. Our system is so far out of whack that this is what's going to happen. Now you have us, what I was called when I was doing this already 30 years ago, was a gypsy. There's some of us that love, or even quite a few nowadays, that love to live in our vehicles and love to travel. And we spend our money in the towns that we go to, which she doesn't acknowledge. All she wants to do is acknowledge all the bad stuff. She's saying 2,000 to 3,000 people are coming to her to Squamish on an annual basis. Well, have you ever thought that maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people are spending money on fuel and food and if they have littered, well, maybe spend a little bit of money cleaning it up. Yes, they shouldn't be doing it, but they are spending a heck of a lot of money on resources in your area. Like, most towns would love if it was anything else, 2,000 or 3,000 people coming in and buying fuel and food and laundry and all the rest of it. Man, I could talk for hours on this. I call bullshit. And then directly saying that we're polluting their riverways. Yes, the odd person's an idiot and they throw their garbage where they shouldn't. But to insinuate that people living in their vehicles is polluting their waterways with this whole fake news feed is crazy. It's just ludicrous. What it is we're not conforming to living in your houses, and we're not conforming in living your style of life. Hey, we live in a free country. These vehicles are licensed legally, and if they're not pretty like you want them to be parking on the side of the road, too damn bad. They are a licensed vehicle. Now, if there's garbage all the way around them and they're starting generators, which I saw in one feed, well, that's wrong. Talk to the guy. I'm sure he'll put his generator away. Just like somebody, if they jaywalked, you got to let them know that, okay, you're not supposed to do that. But this is ridiculous, this whole insinuation and making us look bad. It infuriates me. You tell us that we are supposed to be camping in your paid campgrounds is bullshit. Lower the prices in the campgrounds and maybe we could stay there. But when you're camping, it was traditionally, when I was a kid, we went camping because it was supposed to be cheap, and it was cheap. Now you're charging between $30 and $50 a night. No way. Like, that's insane. I realize that, things are becoming more expensive, but it's not just a little more expensive. It's becoming, again, so far out of whack that nobody can afford to do these things. That's why you're seeing so many more people freestyling it. But freestyling's been around for a long time, but it's just getting more and more popular now. And all you do is mention the people that so-called need housing. Well, there's the whole group of people that are living in their vans and vehicles because they choose to, like me. I have an apartment right now only because I've had to deal with some health issues. But I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I can tell you right now, I don't ever remember having to kill a bear because of my garbage or because I left food out. Um, you know, if you, Natasha, would replay what you just said, I think you'd shake your own head. Wake up and smell the roses, dear.
Squamish has become an increasingly popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts, but now the district is feeling the strain of all of those people. Joining us now with more is Natasha Golbeck with the Squamish Community Services Department. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, when we talk about strain, this really is thousands of people. How many people do you estimate are living out of their cars right now?
So the annual seasonal visitors to Squamish, we estimate 2,000 or 3,000 vehicles over the course of the summer season. That's a separate number from the people who live in their cars year-round, who are living and working in Squamish and members of the community. It's a much smaller number, but that is certainly a distinct population as well.
I mean, Squamish isn't that big. I mean, that's a significant amount of vehicles. Where are most of them residing right now?
So they generally are along the Forest Service roads and on Crown land within the boundaries of the municipality. So just outside the town center. Some people are also on sort of pull-out roads and parking lots in town. But generally, it's the Mamclan Forest Service Road.
What kind of problems is this creating?
So years ago, when the number of people who were camping on Crown land was smaller, it wasn't an issue. But now the density and the volume is much higher. And so we're seeing things like wildlife attractants, wildfire risk, neighborhood interface issues as well, and people just camping badly and leaving garbage behind and polluting riverways and things like that.
Now, I understand that you don't necessarily want to just push people out, but how do you address this?
Yeah, so camping, seasonal recreation-driven camping is a big part of our community's identity. It's a driver of our economy. We want people to come visit Squamish, certainly. We don't want them to not come, but we do want them to camp in designated campsites. There is some capacity. Explore Squamish has developed an app that people can go to see where campsite availability is. And so we're trying to encourage people to visit, but visit responsibly and mitigate the risks we're seeing.
What kind of problems is this creating between people who live in the area in homes or apartments and people that are living out of their vehicles?
Yeah, there can be some neighborhood interface issues, certainly. We do get a number of complaints, particularly when people are close by residential areas and they're behaving badly and having fires and parties late at night and leaving garbage and improper disposal of human waste. The other issue is, of course, wildlife attractants. If people are leaving their food out, bears come into the area, they get habituated, and then unfortunately for the bear, the bear has to be destroyed. So that's certainly an issue.
Have you seen that happen so far this summer?
We've had 7 bears destroyed so far this year. This is going up every year. We can't say exactly what the cause was. There's neighborhood attractant issues as well within residential communities, but this is certainly part of the issue.
So what are the next steps here to, I guess, try and mitigate this problem?
So the staff are recommending a bylaw to council that restricts camping in the particularly sensitive areas along the Mamclan Forest Service Road, which is just beside the Squamish Chief, as well as the estuary and the Spit area, which is a wildlife management area. So those are our real hotspots. That's where we see the density of campers currently, and so we want to have an extra tool that when we educate people about responsible camping, we can also give them a ticket if we need to.
What kind of feedback are you getting from campers in the meantime?
Yeah, so it depends on the group for sure. The recreational seasonal campers understand this largely. They typically are not a population that wants to pay for a campsite, but they're not usually in this situation due to economic hardship. It's a culture. So that group of people are more amenable to working with us about how to mitigate risk. The people who are our community residents who live and work in Squamish and live in their vehicles because they can't find affordable housing, that's a different group, and they've certainly been working with us on some more sustainable options for that group of people. We're working on affordable housing and workforce housing and are getting input from them about how to do that in the short term and safely and sustainably.
All right. Well, I know you'll be working on this in the weeks to come, but thank you very much for joining us to tell us more about it.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break, but